make loving good. If it's all night long, mama. If it's all night long. If it's all night long, mama, Lord. If it's all night. You can give me them keys, mama, Lord, to your back door. You won't ever be bothered, baby, with me on the front no more. Never, never no more. Never, never no more. You won't
Right.
ever...
Well, the other person of the what I would call the big three of the old blues rediscoveries was Skip James.
Yeah.
And Skip James came to the University of Chicago for that folk festival I was telling you about in 1967. I remember that he was living in Philadelphia at the time.
Okay.
He was taking a train to Chicago, and the train came through the storm, and he got off at the 63rd Street, I think, train station or somewhere down there, and ran into John Cohen of the New Lost City Ramblers, who escorted him up to the university.
Wow. They just randomly bumped into
I
each other?
think so, as I recall. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, as I say these things out loud, I sometimes wonder about the details, but it's close enough. Anyway, he did make it to the 57 festival. So I think, I've been trying to remember, I don't think he did a separate concert for us later, but he might have. He also stayed with my roommate, David Wexler, and me in our apartment, the same place that John Hurt had stayed. And Skip was a very heady person. He was in his own head a lot, and he had ways of thinking about things that were very, very interesting, but also kind of inscrutable, especially music. And I tried talking with him about music. Why do you play this way? Why do you use this tuning? Or how do you arrange your songs? And I don't think I really, really understood what he was getting at, because he had his own system, his own vocabulary, his own music theory, if you will. And it made perfect sense to him. But it was very
instead
hard.
of 4 concerts, it'd be 8. Now you contribute like that. Triplet so you completed it.
He had a lot of opinions about things. He wasn't shy about expressing them. And a lot of people have said that he could be a difficult character, but for some reason, he and I got along pretty well. I don't know why, but we did. And at one point, he asked me if I would take him further on the south side of Chicago to visit some relatives. I think they were his relatives, but for years I was also thinking they might have been John Hurt's relatives. Anyway, Skip asked me to take him to see these people on the further south side. And while he was staying, I guess I had been playing some guitar, sitting around and just doodling and playing guitar. So he asked me to bring a guitar with me. And I thought, okay, he's going to want to sit and play for it. This is going to be terrific. So we got to this house, very neat little house with everything just in place, and all of the furniture covered in plastic, to keep it from getting soiled. And very nice woman who I barely remember. She was probably, I don't know, in her 50s, maybe 60s. I was in my 20s, so everybody seemed really old to me. She was the one I remember being there. There may have been other people, but anyway, we went in the house and they chatted for a bit, and Skip introduced me to her. And then he said, this boy plays just like John Hurt.
Wow.
So, yeah. So he said, you play something for them now. That's why he wanted me to bring the guitar. So I could play for his or John Hurt's relatives. I don't remember which ones. So I was completely embarrassed by this. I thought, this is not right. here's one of the greatest blues musicians of all time asking me to play, but I obliged, and I don't know what I played or how much I played or how good or how terrible it was, but
Well, you did learn the finger style directly from John Hurt, didn't you? Or at least,
more or less, yeah, I did. I had been playing that style before, you
right.
know,
But then
coming
you
up,
got to see it right up close.
seeing it right up close, and maybe getting a few of the licks a little more exactly the way he did it. I've never been one either through lack of talent or patience or both to really slave over getting a note for note version of what somebody else had played. I
Yeah.
like getting the feel of it and learning some things that I can use in my own playing. And sometimes I'll try to play it exactly that way. But so I don't know to what extent this was, I played just what John Hurt played. Make Me a Pallet on the Floor is the song that I remember. I remember him playing that. And when I play that, I think, okay, this is pretty close to how he did it. But
Yeah.
having Skip James ask me to play for his or John Hurt's relatives was
That's
a
a gift.
command performance that has beat anything else that I've ever done musically.
Yeah, that's you don't need any more feathers in your hat than that.
So later, Skip and I stayed kind of friendly because he lived in Philly and I was from Philly.
Yeah.
And one of my visits back home on a college break, I called him up and went to his house, and his wife made me a chicken dinner, and we sat around and
Oh, wow.
drank wine and ate fried chicken. I also went to one of his recording sessions in New York for Vanguard Records.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I remember that a little bit. I know it was in a building with a very high cathedral ceiling and a big room with him sitting in the middle, just playing guitar and singing.
I see now that's the angel play. You're making a half an octave right there when you do that now. You watch this now. You just count it 1, 2, 3, like this. And I'm so, and I am mighty until I don't know what. It's like one, you make it a 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can trip it and then make your